Hello and welcome back. Today we are continuing our Sweden run here in Victoria 3. Last episode we freed Finland and we got Denmark as a subject. We were kind of expecting that we would be able to diplomatically form it, but it is only Swedish, Norwegian, Danish, and Icelandic countries, and Finland is of course a Finnish country. So as a Finnish country, they are not part of our thing, so we will have to go after them militarily. I do believe we could just click the button now and form Scandinavia, but perhaps we want to wait till we have the Giga Scandinavia. I think we'll still have the return state CB on these guys afterwards though, and so what we could do is we could wait to dominion them, which I think is what we're going to do, and then click the button, and then we get to kind of annex them for free, but the dominion cost is really not going to be all that much. Also, we do see a little bit of red down here. I'm not sure exactly how Schleswig-Holstein will get handled when we click the button, but we will see, because it is only a few more years until we have our truce up with them, 3 years, and we are expecting to go after them. Then we are damaging relations, and we can kick them out of the customs union for the last little bit of relation decay in order to go after them. So we'll just be continuing on trying to make smart moves until then. Also very significant last episode was getting Ukraine into our customs union, because they have an absolute ton of population, 20 million, which we are siphoning off. Just to kind of maybe put stuff in a little bit of context, we have had Ecuador in our customs union for a little bit, and if we take a look at their population, we see basically when they became our subject, now their population goes down. Let's see, who else has been in our customs union? Spain's been in our customs union for a hot minute. We see when they joined our customs union, the pop trends down. I think Portugal might be in our customs union. Let's just click the button. So Portugal is also in our customs union. I think they've been in longer than Spain, if I recall correctly. And if we hover over their pop, we see, well, okay, I guess relatively stable. Is this after a rev or something? Weird. But they haven't decayed down quite so much. But this is kind of the name of the game if you are going to try and do it without, the great and powerful strategy that is going after Chinese pops, because this is going to be the most efficient strategy. Let's take a look at these guys' pops. Looks like they're flattening out. I think we got them relatively late. Ukraine just became a thing, but so I think the graph won't say much of anything because it starts in 73 and it's up to here, but I think even then you could still see a slight decline, and all these pops are just kind of, flooding in. If we take a look at our pop map, obviously it's just exploding from, just a couple million to 30 million now, and we haven't conquered all that much. Well, forget about this stuff, but other than this stuff and this stuff down here, we haven't conquered like enormous swaths of, high pop land necessarily. There is quite a bit in La Paz, and there's quite a bit has come to Transvaal, but they didn't start here. This is not the amount of pop that Transvaal starts with. They have just been migrating here. If we see Sotho and Nguni are like relatively populous, but look, Swedes are 12% of the pop here. And so this is a bit of an interesting thing, but this really has been an underlying theme of the run, which is going for pops. Now, the second place other than China that you can go to for non-European pops that will be very good will be Sikh Empire, and we've been slowly making that ingress. We dominioned, Macron and then annexed them. We dominioned Kalat. We'll annex them later. If we really wanted to, we could. No, we actually can't vassalize Afghanistan because we don't have military access through them, at least at this point in the game. We might see something change on 1.5, but this has been a really strong, kind of theme of the run, and pump jacks is going to be a good one for us. Very, very strong technology. Here, why don't we just do the pump jack stuff and just kind of emphasize whenever we can that this just basically, for the input of just like 5 engines, it doubles it, but it also increases employment in terms of farmers and machinists and decreases laborers. And so this will also have, kind of a little bit of a cascading effect on clout. It still requires that they be relatively wealthy, but we see wealth. Okay, wealth is actually kind of stalled out. We're expecting it to be increasing, but if you can increase the pop, generally the wealth will stall out a whole lot less. I'm thinking we might run an engine shortage. Nope, we don't, but we're in good shape, and we're going to look for another good expansion spot. We have been on the lookout for either a humanist or an anarchist, so that we can, in particular, try and get onto all cultures accepted, multiculturalism, but we do see that we have, a guy who will support, who's a feminist, and will support that movement, and since labor is overall a really big problem in our country, we'll invite that boyo. We also could exile this jingoist guy, or we could put the feminist in charge of the party. We'll see exactly how big, this attempt is, and also We might have to reform the government a hot little bit. Looks like we can't really make a more acceptable one. We have this really huge block of the Radical Party that's probably somewhat likely to, dissolve as ideologies change, but it was initially created because they were all radical. We've kind of passed that point in the game for us, but we still have a really big movement for universal suffrage right now, so we'll look to get that through. We're also going to be going after Sulawesi here. Ooh, I didn't even realize we had a front with them. Awkward. Very, very awkward. I thought we were just going to have to double land, but, that is what it is. So we're probably going to have to land again. But just a casual dominion there. We are decaying some infamy. We are still in the spot where we can Diplo Protectorate people. This does seem like something that is going to be taken out of the game. So we can Diplo Protectorate Lubeck here. And Sulawesi backs down. So we'll probably just, kind of cruise through to the next one and dominion these guys as well. But we also definitely want to keep at war constantly because we have an ally, and so we don't want to be sucked into their war instead. And so by doing this and constantly staying at war, we don't have to worry about anything. But Lubeck, we might save before we form Scandinavia, and if Lubeck is somehow left out, we might see if it makes a difference if we protectorate them, something like this. Gold depleted in Versat. Spectacular. Considering this one option, actually, them becoming radical is not actually the worst, and we do want them to stay, because now we have gold mines. Boop, boop. And so we will just kick those to the front of the queue. They will be very, very, very nice. I think that, do we care about this guy's approval? A little bit. Wouldn't hate the bureaucracy. Alright, we'll take it. We take those. And now with this active, we can finish incorporating some stuff that we hadn't started, incorporating. We still want to probably go after increasing, even more our bureaucracy, mainly for the reason that, we still want to do a skyscraper survey, this type of stuff, and let's increase it a few levels at the front of the queue where we have our thing going. But it's very casual, kind of normal expansion. Borneo is really great, kind of low infamy type stuff. We might annex Bahrain, they're going to be good. Nejd is notably a subject of Russia, which is less than common, but it is what it is. Ooh, extra home affairs max investment was actually pretty nice. We could decrease one of our other institutions, like law enforcement, to make room for more home affairs, but I think in general we want to start pushing the institutions really a lot harder. Are we on? Let's just check this here. So we do want to get on elected bureaucrats at some point in time, but I'm not really sure when is going to be a good time. I guess, well, we kind of want to get women's suffrage first, but then maybe something to that effect. Yeah, in terms of our starting situation, definitely putting the manufacturing spot in the same spot as the capital made a lot of sense, but we're starting to experience a little bit of pain now with our 31 university because this is taking away from employment of stuff like the motor industries, which notably have a positive balance, and these motor industries we have like a shortage of motors on the market right now. Shortage of boom booms too, again, kind of coming from the same issue where these are not fully employed. They could in theory employ up if labor was not such a big problem here in the capital. And so there's maybe a good argument that we should have not done this in the capital, even though it made sense, kind of at the very start, opening of the game. I'm certainly willing to accept that that's probably the case. I think we can just take the negative approval from the trade unions, yeah. Because they approve of us so much already. Also, once we get on universal suffrage, we'll probably get the trade unions being powerful, which will be nice. And we do have this native uprising here, which is fine. Not too big a deal. We'll just land a couple armies here. Just continuing to small ball. Although we do have nice clean borders in South America coming on up, because we are annexing kind of our final subject there. And so we will have quite a lot of stuff there. And notably, at least some pops that can, migrate to Sweden, at least for a little bit, as there will be a lot of turmoil here in Ecuador. And so all the European pops from there will migrate. And so that'll be fine. But as I was saying up here, it is a little bit of a struggle because we really want our construction to be useful. And so the construction on the buildings is like Okay, I also wish the stuff wouldn't like, we want to have this on auto-expand because of reasons, but I really wish it wouldn't continue to auto-expand even though, you know, can't find employment. But what we're going to have to do down here is we're going to have to continue, like, really blasting the coal mines, I think. And so we'll just add, like, another 10 to the queue, and then here we'll just 31 it. You know, I think we're at a phase of the game where this is, you know, starting to become our new MO. I don't think we have, currently... let's add a couple more. I don't think we currently have economies of scale of 50. Pretty sure we're still on 31. Yeah, we haven't gone for shift work yet. And so we'll just 31, you know, the coal here and the coal there, because that does seem to be a little bit of a sticking point. And, you know, hopefully it'll be good. Rent in this economy, terrible. I think we want the Radical Party to gain momentum. Really was expecting that to schism, though. And not have a thing, but it looks like the Radical Party is doing pretty well. Was expecting it to break apart, but oh well. So rotary valve engine as a whole is generally tremendously inefficient. However, as has been obvious in this run, we are having labor problems. So I think we're going to turn it on specifically in the capital, and in the capital only, we're going to turn on rotary valve engine for the labor saving because of the reasons we were talking about. We're going to turn it on all the buildings in the capital that we can. Forgot that doesn't use rotary valve. I think this does. And this will help us out quite a bit. You know, it's saying that it's profitable. It's probably not going to be profitable in other areas, but it will be profitable in the capital. We'll need to make sure we're on explosive shells everywhere. But, you know, it's also, the tooltip's allowed to lie to you. It's not against the rules. But yeah, also the trade center being here, we really wish the trade center was just in a different place, or if this was just a level 1 trade center. I think we might actually take a look at deleting some of these trade routes as well. You know, we just added a whole bunch of routes kind of off camera, and while we do really want to export in particular fertilizer, I think we want to, you know, if we're not specifically trying to run up a huge trade volume with some of these countries, although exporting fertilizer is something we really want to export, then why are we importing? What? I have no recollection of putting that route in. That's not a me type of route, but I think that with the tools not being profitable, we kind of want to axe that route, and then with, you know, with countries that we're not specifically trying to increase trade volume with, we want to kind of get rid of it. I don't think we want to import from them. Is that really from, like, the start of the game or something, and I just never noticed it? What is going on? I have no recollection of a couple of those routes. Maybe I just clicked the wrong button one time and accidentally imported instead of exported for some of those goods. But okay. It'll also help us out on the bureaucracy front, so that'll be somewhat useful. We are getting native uprisings as well, so it's a good thing that, you know, we're kind of juggling our infamy up high enough that we are going to be making use of our infamy. Oh, just a second. I think we do want women's suffrage pop support, and so we'll go with this one, because that's the plan for what we're going to pass after this. We do see the movement's actually gotten a decent chunk of support too, so that'll be fantastic for us when it comes time. Alright, we got some universal suffrage, so let's take a look at how it might, you know, change this dynamically. Might have to wait till the next election to get an update on this, if I'm not, yeah, do have to wait for the election, it seems. Or we could, you know, just hover over. Yeah, their clout didn't instantly adjust, but the trade union's coming on up. We will try and, you know, getting all three of these powerful and happy at the same time is really, really a nice boon. And we will see about passing women's suffrage. We have a movement for it. It will make people upset, unfortunately, but no one too upset, you know, so I think we should be able to pass it relatively easy, and we do have a large enough movement of 32 that we can pass it pretty easy, even though the only person who supports it in Gov is the petite bourgeoisie at this point in time. Although if we get more people, you know, kind of in that vein, that'll be good. Kutai backs down, just a little bit more classic small ball type expansion in some of the better spots. I think we might want to annex Bahrain here. We'll see if Egypt sides against us. This might be a thing. Not that Egypt could stop us, and if Egypt does side with us or against us, we could probably just pick up Sinai. It's usually a pretty good place to pick up. You know, the cost of taking territory is usually based on the pop, and the pop of Sinai is generally not too big, and so this can be a good place to pick up, knowing that you will eventually get the canal here, and while the canal doesn't give a lot, your trade and your convoy routes not being disrupted by being at war with the person with the canal is something that's relatively nice, because if you go to war with the person with the canal, you lose access to the canal's benefits, which is, you know, making it so that the C node from here connects directly to the C node right here. And so it can be a nice, like, little useful thing, but overall not huge. So we put in quite a bit of auto expansion here down in South America. On nearly every place there will be something that's now auto expanding. There's a couple ideas here. One is we're on pump jacks, and you know, when you get onto pump jacks, this doubles like the output of your plantations, and this is relatively good. And once you get on mutual funds as well, it's not as bad for the IPT, and so this will be good. But also it will hopefully decrease the migration to these areas so that they migrate, you know, to more the Swedish homeland territories instead, which would be preferable. But also down here is also fine, because we do have a fairly large amount of eco down here. It is largely the source of our mineral output at this time. We also hit the 100 million mark. This crank up is due to like a confluence of factors. One, we readjusted all of our trade a hot minute ago, and so this was useful. But also, you know, the fact that we're just streaming in a lot of pops from Ukraine, which we got in the back of like last episode, I think is another big source of this. We're still getting a very large amount of migration coming in. You know, 37k is a pretty solid amount, considering no Chinese provinces are being used right here. And so, you know, the overall pop is really cranking up in a way that's quite nice. You see that there's a little crank up from Ecuador, but for the most part, the curve is starting to get more and more increasingly vertical, on the basis of us having like this big customs union, or relatively big. I guess it's not huge, but it notably has Spain and Portugal and Ukraine in it, of pops that we accept. And oh no, Prussia sniped these guys. That's unfortunate. We were damaging relations with them anyways, but now, yeah, it doesn't matter. We're gonna go to war with them pretty soon anyways. We do have 6 months left on this truce, but this is kind of how things are shaking out, at least at this point in time. You know, the eco's coming up, the pops are coming up, and you know, it's those things together. I think also the fact that we turned on the Pump Jacks PM was a big one, and we're absolutely hauling on this women's suffrage, you know, kind of pass. And as far as tech goes, just to kind of reiterate, or I might not have even pointed this out last episode, we are going slightly ahead of time for malaria prevention, looking just to get that in, so we can get, you know, a decent chunk of the Congo. You know, all of it down here as best we can. You know, Great Britain's already got a really strong foothold. It's not like we could do anything about it, but we will be able to get a decent amount of resources down here. Women's suffrage is also going to be a really big one, because the increased, you know, workforce ratio is really good when you're having pop problems. Which, if you're having pop problems, I feel bad for you, son. You might be us. If you're having problems enunciating, you might also be us. So in terms of laws, you know, there's a couple more that we wanted to get in. I guess appointed bureaucrats, now is a good time to do it, because we do have Mr. Nils of the August Larson of the Armed Forces, and so this will be a little bit better for us to get in on at this point in time. So we've high-rolled a couple of events that have allowed us to improve relations pretty quickly with the Netherlands here, and now we can invite them to the customs union, which is fantastic, owing them an obligation. We'll take a look at, you know, kind of the other ones, because we were just taking a look because of the event. Oh, and we see we can get Mexico in by owing them an obligation too, so we'll do that. So big nice on the come-ups. You know, both Mexico and they will be joining, so now we can siphon off those sweet Mexican pops again, and we can siphon off the Dutch ones. It's very nice to see the Swedish market reigning supreme over Indonesia, as was intended, clearly. You know, we are looking after Johor. Specifically, this is a pretty good one for just getting a native interest here. You know, once we finish annexing them, we won't need to have this interest here, and we could declare it somewhere else. And so we could look to have, you know, our interests more stretched out in various areas, and so this will be useful. I think this play pattern is going to be important to keep in mind for 1.5, where, you know, especially if they require for you to get reverse swayed, for you to start with an interest, which is currently what's required on the open beta, but I don't know if that'll hit live. Also, it's barely been any time, and we are really cranking up the eco. We do have a little bit of a secession movement, wherever that's at. Wherever that's at. I said wherever that is at. Where is it? Where are you at, secession? Please pop. Can we get a pop so we can know where you are from? I saw Boss Congo, so is it down here? That's Dutch Congo, Swedish Gabon. Where is the secession? The hell? I guess we'll find it, and we'll force on Johor, and also make sure we land Vietnam, because we have some war goals on them too. Alright, it's time. We are going to launch a unification play. That seems to be the best way to do it here, because I don't think we get, you know, any infamy for launching a unification play, if I'm not mistaken, and we might get a little infamy. I don't think you get infamy from launching the unification play, and we just have to beat down Finland, and then we will unify with them, and, you know, we do have to fight Prussia. If we lose, it's basically rip the run, because all of our last 10 years of progress get wiped away, or I guess maybe not rip the run, but we do have to release a whole bunch of people. I'm thinking that we will only have to fight Prussia. We might have to fight Prussia and Russia. I'm thinking if we have to fight Prussia and Russia, this should be Ussia. No, Austria should probably be helping us, something like this. But we're gonna peel one off and see how this goes. So we unify all under Sweden, with Norway at least, which will increase our troop count by a decent chunk. We will see if we have to recruit any new commanders, new generals, and we see the Baltic, yeah, we have a great need of new commanders. I think we're going to take this guy and promote the nihilist that he is. He's just a nihilist, man. I think he believes in Nietzsche. I shouldn't make those jokes. Okay, and then we will be going up against Sweden at the very least, and at the very most, we will be stuck with this hideous flag for the rest of time. Jesus, it's hideous. But okay, fair enough. Now, Austria's damaging relations, they're belligerent. Did we recruit a bunch of infamy? It doesn't look like we did. But they're maybe not a fan of the new status quo where, you know, we're the big boys now. I think we just move everyone to the front to just get them ready and in the area to, you know, if we have to move them around, this type of thing. It seems reasonable to me. You know, we do have a lot of these troops coming in from South America, and it looks like we are going to, you know, we would want this convoy deficit to get resolved before the war starts, and we're almost certainly going to conscript if it ends up being a big-looking war, because that's spooky when it's big-looking. Obviously, we win Finland. We win versus Finland in a 1v1, but really expecting to see some serious siding along with, yeah, so instant Prussia side, which should make Austria like to side with us. We could offer an obligation to Spain. We'll keep that in our back pocket. We really don't want, we're going to wait till about half escalation, and we see, yeah, that is a big deal that both Russia and Prussia are siding here. I'm thinking we're going to let it tick to about halfway and then invite Spain, but this is going to be a relatively large war. I don't think we want to put any war goals in on Prussia, and we do see here that Schleswig and Holstein have gotten released from this, so this is not exactly what we wanted, but I believe it's part of our play, is it not, where we're going to unify. Oh, we're just, this blows. We're not going to get Schleswig and Holstein off of this? That is unfortunate. We don't even get Lubeck, who's in our customs union. Terrible. Could have made them into a protectorate. I thought that we would get Schleswig. I guess Denmark has to go after this, so maybe there's a better way to do this. I mean, either way, we're going to be forming Scandinavia, right? Actually, maybe we take a load and see if we just click the Form Scandinavia button, if we get Schleswig-Holstein and Schleswig-Holstein, like, if we get these in. So maybe we're going to take a save at this point in escalation and just rewind back and see what happens if we just click Form Scandinavia instead, if these guys are booted out from underneath Denmark, because obviously Denmark exists no more. Okay, we are going to see what happens if we just click Form Scandinavia instead, because if we don't boot these guys out, I think this will be the preferable way of doing it. And it looks like we get to... Well, we get the achievement, I am Scandinavian, so we're just going to screenshot that. But it does look like it boots them out regardless, which is kind of a bit unfortunate, but we could just, you know, form Scandinavia and then, you know, return state these, which will accrue us, what is this? Yeah, like 20 infamy, so this isn't going to be the way to go, but it's, I guess, useful to note that this will happen, you know, with Denmark specifically, that we will lose hold of Schleswig-Holstein, in which case it's probably worth it to, like, just annex Denmark before, I suppose. maybe we'll annex Denmark before we do this, because then we'll have these guys as our subjects, and then we can form the bigger, stronger, chatter Scandinavia. So I just realized after loading when we were about to, annex Denmark, that these guys are, their subject type is, if I'm not mistaken, personal union, which means after we annex Denmark, they'll get booted out because we forsook we made our king forsaken by going parliamentary republic, so it won't really matter. So I think we're going to reload the big war that was brewing between both Russia and Prussia and continue the run from there. But I think that the overall strategy, being sensitive to this personal union business, is important, and so we won't be getting Schleswig or Holstein together with Denmark, which is a bit unfortunate. There's not really anything we can do about it at this point in time, but I think that we needed to stay on monarchism, and we needed to annex Denmark, make these two our subjects, then form, and this would have been a better way about going about it. I also think low-key that releasing Norway at the very beginning and then going into Russia's customs union to siphon off their pops probably is optimal as well, especially because we're adjacent to their market. It should be easier to get in, just in terms of improving on this run, of which I think a lot of improvements can be made. But that was like kind of a more notable one, so we'll load up back when we had the big war brewing. So the war has started. We've gone to full conscription. I think we're going to, even on top of this, recruit or build some more barracks. Specifically, if we notice any place where we have, free labor, which I'm not seeing any, but if we had free labor here, we would kind of want to use it. I guess we have some unemployment here, and so we're just going to build up, a few barracks. Why don't we actually just round all these barracks out to nice even numbers so I don't tear my hair out? And the 15, they're already really even numbers. Are we going to do it like this? But just looking at, a little bit of kind of stuff in kind of the newly incorporated stuff. Are we really losing 262k? Oh my god. Alright, that's a bit of a problem. Is this gonna swap? We're just gonna click this button, but this might swap over our barracks PMs. We're kind of hoping that it doesn't, but if it does, it's not the end of the world. Something like this. We do need our PMs swapped, but that is a problem there. So I mean, we could delete construction sectors. I think this is kind of a little bit of a last hurrah kind of situation, so why don't we delete some of these construction sectors. This war does not look too great for us. I think we can out-micro the fact that this war looks like a losing war, but we'll just delete down to 75 construction sectors. We hate to do it. Where are our really big expenses? I think they're going to be, the goods for military buildings are particularly expensive now, but government wages are also pretty expensive, but part of this is because we have a labor shortage because we conscripted everyone up. We see that our GDP flies up when we do this unification, though, and subsequent, we are landing on Prussia first, though. We'd like to enforce them out. They do not have any war goals on us, so they are going to be the easiest to enforce on, and we don't have any war goals on them, so the two of these combined should be in pretty good shape. Although perhaps we should just work Finland first, because Finland is the only one with war goals on us. Yeah, we probably should have landed them first, but we'll get dependent enfranchisement. We probably should have landed the Finns first, just for the purpose of making sure we don't get cut down to size and we do annex them. So, in terms of micro, just because I kind of wanted to show it, what we're doing here is we're trying to get as many landings here on their capital as possible. We're about to get ticked to 0, but we cannot be enforced on as long as, we manage to stay in on the defense, and so we are going to try and make sure that we watch this very carefully, because if they have an advantage, we want to be on defend front, and if they don't have an advantage, we want to, be pushing, and we also want to always keep one general now to defend against naval landings in the Baltic, and so we will keep them mobilized, but they will just sit at home, and so they will get to defend just fine, but we will just keep them mobilized at home. Mr. Magnus will help to keep us, but we are going to watch everything very carefully, because they are sending troops over to these fronts, right? And so we do need to be on watch to make sure that we do get these fronts deleted. properly, and that we can enforce on them quite quickly here. See, we do have strong positions on every front, but see here, now we're starting to lose it. So we're going to switch to just defending on this front, because we're going to be a lot stronger on defense, and we're really hoping that this land bridge gets destroyed, because then we can really, you know, be quite strong as long as the land bridge is destroyed, and, you know, it's presenting difficulties that are not normal, and we see, unfortunately, they arrive here with too many troops. So now we're going to switch to defend. And we have some guys coming overall to just defend on this front, but this is not what we want to see at all, because this is our capital, you know, and that they have like a direct adjacency land bridge to our capital is actually pretty obnoxious, and it's going to make things quite difficult here. Yeah, these are involved in battle. This is kind of why we've been stopping going, is because we really wanted to prevent that, because our guys can get pushed back if they are on offense, and now we have to really babysit what's going on here. Looks like we might still get one more push in here. And maybe that deletes the front even. Mexico's done with this. That is unfortunate. Hopefully Prussia's done with it sometime soon. Russia's not going to be done with it anytime soon, but hopefully Prussia, and maybe we got a little bit greedy putting in so many war goals on Russia, but here, like, we just absolutely can't afford to, like, lose. Yeah, see, we're probably going to lose this here, and we're going to get a pretty fat decay, and there's not too much I don't think we can do about it. Okay, let's have a think. So Grand Colombia Boyo went back, Southern Africa guy went back, and so maybe we can try re-landing here. Maybe we need to play this out a little bit slower. So we're gonna play the Mr. Broer is gonna come in this way, and Niels is also gonna come in this way. Or there's multiple Niels. I guess Nisser. Alright, that is the correct guy we wanted. Now, I think that's this entire thing. Oh, it's just this one Åland. Oh yeah, we're just going to keep landing this and hope to try and brick this before we manage to get pushed back. And so this is going to be the game plan. You know, just trying to keep this below 0 tick from ticking. And because they're decaying not as fast as us, not even near as fast. But also, if they manage to... we might even be able to push here. I'm not sure. They're moving. We could certainly probably move a guy down from here to here, but we also don't want to get pushed up here. But yeah, it's just watching stuff very closely, ticking like one tick at a time, and it's a bit of a tedious endeavor. So we actually have this very, very tense situation here, where we have two battles about to finish, and which one finishes first might decide who wins this war. I believe if our push into this little island finishes first, we'll occupy this and we'll brick this front. If their push from that island into our capital ticks, we might just get enforced on before we can retake it, and it might be over. There's 780 left defending here, and 988 defending here. We're gonna take this a little bit slow, and watch both of these battles, because I think that it's going to be whichever one wins this next battle, which is very tense, and they've been both winding down at very near the same speed, but it's looking like we're victorious there. Oh, but does it not break the front? Did it break the front? It bricked the front. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So that, oh my god, that's, okay. So I think we win this now. That was super tense. This is the most stressed out I've been fighting a battle in quite some time here. We're going to take a lot of these guys who are, you know, like 10 stacks, the very smallest guys, and we're going to put them on standby. And the purpose for this is so that we know which guys who are available for landings. Magnus is still going to just defend the homeland. We're not going to do anything with Magnus here, but with the other 10 stacks we stood down, we're going to look to land this island to re-brick this front even more so that, you know, nobody can get in. Now, since it is it's their island, so we need 3 landings. We're going to need to find a final gentleman to make a fever push. Oh, is this all one front again? No, it's still 2 fronts. Perfect. So we just need to get one more guy from here. We're going to use, this guy from the Grand Colombia HQ. And so with the 3 of these, we are all going to land here and look to completely brick this entire side of things. We're going to leave Magnus behind, as we mentioned earlier. I think we do need to triple land here. So Bjorn Fleetwood as well. Got to be very careful not to misclick one of these, because this is... Their side is way stronger than ours. It's only, you know, by microwing landings that we're able to do this and outflank them, because we haven't pushed a single thing except when we've landed in. So it's just defending and landing. You see all of our guys are on defend, and we should be able to get in here. They'll try and push us, but we will have a lot of defensive resources. They're not even trying to push us. So I think this means victory here. If they're not going to try and push in on this, then they can't make any forward progress. You know, we have our guys defending. What happened? Oh, a landing got in? Okay, perfect. So now we just need to swap everyone to defense. We had a landing get in. I think we're going to continue to land in various areas, you know, with our guys, except for Magnus. So we got 4 guys we got to land with, but with the exception of that, it's just defending now, because we have a good enough push into their capital that I think we can just be stuck in on defense, and our 243 can defend for pretty long against their 433, especially because they have worse PMs, and defenders has significant advantages. Yeah, so you can see these are the types of battles we're getting, where they have, you know, like close to double the troops, but we can still defend really, really well into this, you know, because we have way more defense than they have offense, despite this, and so it's going to be hard for them to tick us out. It looks like they're actually making some progress. If they make progress, though, it's just going to be slow progress here, and we do have landings getting in on the Russian front, which we are now pushing. We're going to put, you know, kind of the people who we tried to land but failed to land, we're going to put them in advancing this front, but we're probably going to need to readjust them. We're going to make sure that we are set to designate... Yeah, we do have that set to designate strategic objectives, so we're really expecting a lot of reassignments from the Russian troops. And if the Russian troops are out, and the Prussian troops, you know, Prussia's probably pretty close to being over this war, you know, they might just leave this war, like, at any point in time, like Mexico left our side, but this leaves us in a really good spot. We do have to kind of watch and make sure that we are getting nice advancements here, and we don't, yeah, so here's what we're watching for, is the fact that a bunch of guys got reassigned to this front. So what we're going to do is we're going to swap all these guys to defend front now, and now we kind of have free reign if we wanted to try and push this. I don't think it's necessary, but they won't have enough guys here to push us out is the main point, and they are ticking down from 29. And so we'll swap to defending on the Russian ingress and maybe even move a few guys over there. Okay, so a little bit of a sigh of relief. Prussia's out of the war. So now the war is very, very easily winnable, and it's just a matter of how we want to try and win it. Also, amusingly, USA is subjugating the Papal States. So I thought you guys were secular. Apparently not. We are going to get rid of, well, no, we're not going to wind down our consumption tax, because currently we're running this absolute monstrous deficit with our, like, full conscription strategy right now. But what we have coming in here is a bunch of people who we're setting on defend. You know, Russia's going to try and push. They're going to have to push into a 71 stack. And so while they have a decent chance of winning, not like this, they don't. And so we are going to now do the same strategy we have over here of just mainly defending, except we're going to move some more guys over. But we're going to do it here on the Russian capital, so all we have to do to, you know, enforce the whole shebang is going to be, you know, it's going to be like a little bit of this, you know what I mean? Now, neither of them like it very much right now, but we're just going to sit in here and just wait, and, you know, if we have to, we are going to re-land. Unfortunate. No! Oh no, we get gold mines. We're not going to let them leave, though. But now we get to do this. Oh, 4 gold mines. Let's go, baby. But yeah, it's looking very good from this point. We're about to take them below 0. I said below 0. Yeah, there we go. There's the below 0 right there. Alright, we've held in for a long time now, just kind of holding positions. Notably, if you control someone else's territory and you advance and you fail, they can reconquer or reclaim some of their old territory, and this is one of the reasons we're defending even when we have an advantage up here. It's just not worth the risk. But here, we are going to peel one off. When Finland capitulates, I'm almost positive Russia will instantly capitulate afterwards, because Russia's had enough of this as well, and I think they're involved in another war, so we get Finland capitulating. They're reduced to that little stretch of land. We do notably have guys kind of not on fronts, so I think we'll just kind of, you know, throw some guys on this front over here, but I'm pretty sure Russia's actually more than willing to throw in the towel here. So we set it to white peace, and then we just take everything we wanted. Let's propose the deal, and we will get it. And why do we not have... Oh, do we have to... we still gotta click the button? Nation formation, Scandinavia? Now I guess we could still subjugate Schleswig-Holstein, right? Who's this supporting us right here? Schleswig? So if we could launch a unification play again and have to fight Holstein and Mexico, and, well, I guess we're gonna launch another unification play on Schleswig-Holstein and the whole shebang. I thought we were done with this. I thought this was just the one unification play. I guess it's because we annexed Denmark, and then they released the 2 subjects, and then we're just still not done, and we just get to do another unification play. But I'm assuming, perhaps erroneously, that this upcoming war is going to be way easier than the last. So we'll just launch this unification play, and we will dig in. I can't imagine it being harder than this last one. So we released Belarus and Poland. We already pulled Belarus into the market, or we gave an offer that they couldn't refuse. So we will be doing that. It's not Italy, but we'll still be doing that. But we will be here trying to satisfy as many of the demands of Poland as we can, so that we can pull them into the customs union big easy, big nice, which is of course the only way to do things around here. And so this is going to allow us to, siphon off a whole lot more pops, which again it's been the name of the game for this run. Just try and siphon off as many pops as you can. You suck off the pops, you win the game. And so this is going to be the direction we're going in. We're kind of not very concerned with, we're trying to get trade volume, and while we're somewhat concerned with, which ones are profitable, we're not overly concerned with this sort of thing. And so we're just kind of importing the cheap stuff, exporting them the stuff that's expensive in the market, like all these groceries and stuff, and so we just have this enormous volume of trade. If we take a little bit of an unpause, they'll accept a trade agreement right easy, and then we're just going to start bankrolling them, and expecting, we can invite them to the customs union owing them an obligation. I suppose we'll maybe bankroll them and Belarus, so that we can, get rid of owing them an obligation, but we will pull them in. And these guys, they do have a very solid chunk of pop here, with 6 million here. And of course, another 6 million here. So that's 12 million pops more that we can siphon off. And so, we started the game with like 2 million pops, and we're coming in this direction. We do get the tech for that, and also this war is about to pop off, but it's like pretty not going to be a problem at all. We're just going to swap over all of our rural stuff and all this to using the steamers and this sort of thing. It's always a little bit of a swap. I feel like I forgot something, and that's because I did. Alright, perfect. We got ironclads, baby. And this should be very, very quick. Let's see, we got Schleswig-Holstein, and we got Schleswig-Holstein. Please tell me that's not a capital revolt or a revolt, in which case we'll have to do a third war, I guess, for this unification, but, I don't think we're eating any infamy from this. In fact, we probably should have actually declared a war in the interim between our first Scandinavian war and the other, to make sure that the car was loud enough outside, because if the car's not loud enough outside, everyone knows you can't form Scandinavia. No, so it would have been nice for specifically... We're getting a native uprising. We're just going to put all these little 7 stacks that we had developed for landing a bunch of places. Like, if you take a look, we went from having like 3 generals to all this, and like 8 of these loud cars outside for naval landings. And so, it's going to help out a lot here. But we shouldn't be enforcing on them. This is like what's going on. Our economy is not necessarily in the greatest spot, but we also do have 1K construction, and the construction queue is cranking up. We have all this land to kind of like incorporate, reorganize these types of things. And our GDP is just absolutely cranking up. Tatswana uprising. Yeah, we're starting to I forgot, we have so much more incorporated territory now, because we've incorporated the other stuff from like Norway and this sort of stuff, and your colonization rate is based on your incorporated population, so now it's up to 30 million. So now our colonization speed should be fairly good, on top of the fact that, we have a relatively high level institution for this. We'll actually kind of cancel this upgrade here for now, because we are having, bureaucracy problems anyways. But yeah, so these guys will capitulate soon, and we will have ourselves a Scandinavia. Actually, let's see if they'll capitulate now. Or wait, is that the wrong guy? No, this is the right guy. So he won't capitulate just yet, but you know, this has been a very interesting run so far. I'm thinking that once we form Scandinavia, we'll kind of be done with it. And I'm thinking we're forming Scandinavia right now, no? No, I guess not. Okay, I guess we need to launch another unification play. Jesus. Okay, as much as it pains me to do this with us having 0 infamy, so we're going to be losing our infamy decay because we're not using it, we are going to launch the final unification play here on Holstein, which is deeply inefficient because, again, if you're not using your infamy decay, you're losing it. You know, we should declare like a war like Annex Tripolitania, something like this, that accrues us at least a little bit of infamy, preferably something that actually accrued us a lot of infamy. Perfect would be actually just taking Beijing, or, oh, I forgot we released this. Whoops-a-doozle. I mean, we probably want to bankroll them at the very least, and look to pull them into the customs union. Dominioning them would not be insane, but they're already positive relations with us. Actually, can we protectorate anyone? This would alleviate my... We can protectorate Lubeck. We'll owe them an obligation. Now we have infamy. Now... Wait for it. Wait for it. Yeah, now we have infamy. Okay, so now we can just do this. Never mind that I think that we annexed them anyways, alongside Holstein. This is fine. This is fine. It's all fine. So, we're gonna launch the unification play. The final play, we see that Lubeck sides with us, very likely, and we will click yes, we want to do this, and we will mobilize, and we will put one guy on the front, one guy's more than enough, and we will send in. I wish they would just back down, but no one ever backs down when they're about to be annexed. At least not in 1.4. In 1.5, I've noticed they started to do it a little bit more, but we are about to have ourselves a Scandinavia. Alright, I think it's finally time for us to get Scandinavia. So we're going to propose this peace deal. Hopefully this is the final unification and we won't have to unify with Lubeck. We'll see exactly how this is. We do see we're still Sweden. And I thought we were supposed to, you know, be... Oh my god, do we really? We can't... Lubeck is not a valid... They're a protectorate. We'll get them eventually. It's this tiny little blip. Here's for the imperfect Scandinavia unification play. God damn it. Form Scandinavia time. We're Scandinavia! Hey, we did it! Huzzah! So that is it. We also hit 2 really nice breakpoints, like right as we formed Scandinavia here. We hit 1,000 construction and 200 million GDP. Really fast crank up here at the end. And we're running like a surplus, and so, you know, huge potential to pop off here. You know, part of the crank up was us just annexing stuff, but we also were hitting some pretty key technologies. We're kind of late into the game at this point, though, with 1883, so it's maybe not the most impressive possible. But I still feel relatively good about this run, considering the amount of practice runs we did were minimal. I think moving forward, the most optimal might even be ditching Norway at the start and joining Russia's customs union so you can siphon off pops. We definitely had a lot of struggle, you know, getting pops this entire run, or at least the first half of it. Like, our eco growth was completely stunted by our inability to get pops, and then we started expanding the customs union, and that's kind of where we really took off. You know, we went from like a 2 million pop start to like, what is this, like 53 million? We really didn't annex that much land. We annexed like this stuff, but this doesn't have a ton of pop in it, really. A huge chunk of our pops have been coming from people in our customs union, like Spain, who's in our customs union, who, despite getting population growth, is losing pop. Ukraine, which was another late one, they get, you know, pop growth, and they're like siphoned off right now. You know, Portugal's also in our customs union. I think Portugal was managing to hold on to their pop, though. I think, what is it, Chile's in our customs union, and they're kind of leveled out as soon as they joined. Mexico is, well, looks like they're actually doing okay on the pops. They might even be siphoning back from us some of the Mexican pops we stole. Let's take a look now, keeping in mind that we are assimilating a lot of these pops. Let's see, you know, if we could take a look at some of their, you know, we have North Andean making a big chunk of our size, 70%. We have 5% of our pop is Spanish, so that's coming from Spain. We have some Danes. Most of this we siphoned off a lot of Danes before they had come. And we see Sotho is also pretty big. South Andean, also pretty good. North German. And so, but a lot is also getting turned into Swedish pop. So, for example, it's not the case that we have a bunch of Swedes like migrating here, but it's still 20% Swedes, and that's because the people who do migrate here, if it's not their homeland, they can get turned into Swedes as part of assimilation. And so that has all been pretty nice. Overall, felt like a pretty good run. I think we're done here because we are kind of preparing for patch 1.5. What is it? The first update to that. And so we also want to get in a run on the Cold War mod. So I think that this is going to be it. But we have formed Scandinavia. That's what we did this episode. Just a lot of unification plays. One of the more stressful wars we've fought in a long time, having to fight both Prussia and Russia when, like, in an objective sense, we're probably weaker than each of them. Well, maybe we're not. We had an army power projection at the end here at 2,400. Russia's at 2K, and, you know, they're at 1,400. But I'm fairly confident that a big part of that is territories we got after the fact, on top of it was just all defense and then doing a whole bunch of landings. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Feel free to like, comment, and honk outside, and other than that, have a good one.